I smile though I wear a frown, and I'm not gonna take it all lying down, 'cause once I get started, I go to town. 'Cause I'm not like everybody else, no, no, I'm not like everybody else. I'm not like everybody else, man. I'm not like everybody else. And I don't want to live my life like everybody else. And I don't want to be destroyed like everybody else.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Research Roadshow. And today is February 12th. I assume everybody is recovering from their Super Bowl party. But the reason for the late start is I was on the phone with a good friend of a good friend whose loved one is in the hospital. And it upsets me tremendously to realize that they are still using remdesivir in certain hospitals. Now, I know Harry the Greek has not covered remdesivir, but I'll explain why this is such a big deal to me and why Harry's reporting is so important to understand why we still have this protocol and other questionable protocols being followed by otherwise good people, nurses and doctors staffing those hospitals. All right. So I assume you could hear me, even if you couldn't see me. Again, for those who are turning in for the first time, my name is John Wilkins. I came after living in Europe for 32 years. I came to Toledo, Ohio, to work with the great guys at Neighborhood News Studio, Aaron Adler, Tyrone Sargent, and Andy DeBala, because I was convinced that the Europeanization of the Midwest was a very bad thing for my kids back in Italy and for my nephews there and their best friends, and it was a sacrifice to come to the States for 3 or 4 or 5 months at a time to do this work, but it is necessary because back in Europe, we do not have people like Harry the Greek, not to mention George Webb or Mark Kulak or the others, great researchers. And therefore, it is a lot of people in Europe are suffering right now, hoping and praying on their knees. Even the atheists are on their knees praying that Americans start taking action, concrete and coherent action towards solving a few of the most critical problems, the problems on the critical path. All right, so let's bring up the first slide. I apologize. I'm still a little bit. My nerves are a mess because of this situation I heard about in the hospital. It's almost as if they do not want people to get healthy. Now, you would assume that people who work in a hospital, they deal with life and death every day. They want the patients to recover, to do the physical therapy, to get healthier and go on with their lives. I'm beginning to question whether or not that's the case in every ward of every hospital. Let's bring up the first slide. Okay, since we just got done watching the Super Bowl, I'm assuming that everyone saw that little dance that A.J. Brown did after his first catch in the end zone. That little dance was not because he had scored a touchdown. That little dance is probably because, and I'm guessing that Stefan Bancel is in a box, in a loge seat some are very close, because he looked up towards the loges when he did this little dance. And he's probably saying, I'm still alive, Bansell. I'm still alive, after taking a couple of very brutal hits. Anyway, bad pun, bad joke. I'm sorry for that. But the situation is critical. We can see that something is very, very wrong, and nobody is taking, or very, very few people are taking concrete action, getting in the face of their elected representatives and demanding change. A good example, and I continue to uphold this example, is this letter from 18 citizens of Fulton County. I don't know if you can see that there. This letter from the citizens of Fulton County to their elected representatives on the Fulton County Commission that oversees the election process. Up until this day, they had November 2nd of 22, they had been told that they had no voice, that they had no standing, because all of the parties, from the Carter Center to the United Nations, to all of these the parallel satellite entities who did have standing, the citizens did not have a say in the matter. So finally, the Performance Review Board, the state election office's Performance Review Board, was forced by this group of citizens to offer an explanation of what they were doing, why the Carter Center was involved, and what the UN's job was. But if these 18 citizens had not spent the previous 7 months researching and talking to people, picking up the phone every night, hey, did you hear about this? Hey, let's get together tomorrow for coffee and talk about this. If they had not worked day after day after day to get at the heart of this matter and to see the memorandum, demanding to see the memorandum of understanding, and demanding that certain officials explain why they had taken certain actions, they would have never received these materials to begin with. It takes, and that's why Harry the Greek's reporting is so important. Let's take the first example. This guy Kalazinovich. I hope a few of you have already read the article, but this got me pretty upset. Now, in Italy, we resisted for many, many years electronic voting, because we suspected that in some way, shape, or form, the votes would be recorded. That means that if I have a job, let's say I'm a mid-level manager in Fiat. If I'm a mid-level manager, I do not want how I vote to be recorded anywhere, because the news of how I voted might get to my boss's boss. And then it might show that I'm not a loyal employee of Fiat, or what is now Fiat Chrysler Automotive. Okay? And that could have bad repercussions. So this is why Italians resisted electronic voting. But if we had, and when we did start to have electronic voting, the men and women who programmed those hard boards, those daughter boards, those the software, was pretty much, they were Italian citizens. Wouldn't it be very upsetting for Italians to know that someone in Michigan or in Georgia or Ohio or Pennsylvania had programmed their electronic voting machines used in Italy for Italian elections. And yet, for some reason, the majority of people in Georgia and Ohio and other states seem to be okay with the idea that the program, I'm sorry, I didn't even bring it up, that the programmers of the voting machines were not even American citizens. They were all, or nearly all, foreigners. Let's bring up Harry's story. Again, I apologize. I'm still fuming over what I heard about what's going on in the hospitals. And this guy is part of it. Kolazinovich is indirectly responsible in some small part for what is going on in our hospitals, whether it's the Mayo Clinic or the Cleveland Clinic or whatever. So let's read Harry's story. Voting machine programmers live overseas, so they don't get arrested in the US. None live here. Who are they? For Dominion voting systems in Belgrade, Serbia, they are Branko Kolazinovic, Bojan Dorjevic, and Goran Obradovic. For Paragon, SCYTL, and Connect in Barcelona, Spain, it is Luis Navargoy, whose cousin is a VIP at the World Bank. Well, I'm not 100% sure of that, but there is a Navargoy at the World Bank. Why are these gentlemen between quotes, programming the machines that will be used in US elections? Please explain that to me. Okay, let's go up to the next one. Okay. I hope that the closure of SCYTL's offices in Tampa has something to do with the work that the Ospreys have done getting the news out about Connect and about Connect's, excuse the pun, connections. Connections to very powerful people in London, Madrid, New York, Boston, Rome, Vienna. Connections to BlackRock and other financial entities. My main point tonight, and I'll try to be brief because I know many of you are on the East Coast and you're thinking about retiring for the evening. There is no benefit of any kind without effort. Lots of effort. A good example is a football player or a basketball player or a pro soccer player. In order to win a championship, you have to get up earlier than the other guys who are already highly trained and highly motivated. You have to get up a half hour earlier. You have to do 20 more push-ups every single workout. You have to do, you have to bench 25 pounds more than the other guy's benching. It takes lots and lots of effort. Here in America, we have a toehold on something that looks like democracy, some form of democratic. And remember, democracy doesn't mean rule by majority. Democracy means rule by the many, as in not 20 guys in a room somewhere deciding everything. In order for us to keep that toehold and expand the toehold, we have to take what Harry the Greek has given us on a silver platter and use it and get together, now that the Super Bowl is behind us, tomorrow morning at the coffee pot, talk to your colleagues, talk to your friends and neighbors, get at least 5 other guys and gals to join you to go to your local county board of elections and demand to see what's going on, who's calling the shots. Are you still associated with Connect, even though they've closed a couple dozen of their offices and they are, Eugene U is under trial? If you are still working with Connect, why? What are the terms? Demand some answers. These people are ready to launch H5N1 or some other type of sickness or illness, and it might be tuberculosis in one country, like Italy or Spain. It might be swine flu in another country, but they are prepared to execute lockdowns in multiple countries. Again, they will get away with it if you do not take it upon yourself to call your friends and neighbors, to inform them, to let them know, especially the general manager of your local radio station. You know, the radio station that was talking about election theft and Biden bad and China bad and election theft and election theft. Yeah, that general manager. Call him and ask him, how come you're not reporting on Connect or on SCYTL? If you're for real, if you're the real deal, why aren't you reporting on these things that are really, really important, that Harry the Greek in Strongsville, Ohio, is giving us on a silver platter? Let's stop for 1 second on the Connect case. 4 days ago, on the 9th of February, that shows how much math I know. It was, yes, the 9th of February, Rick and Kathy, two of our senior Ospreys, made the trek to Los Angeles Superior Court, room 30, and they observed some very weird behavior by all the parties involved, by the judge, the presiding judge, the fifth in this case, the fifth one to oversee this trial, and by the DA's office and by the defendant's attorneys. Very weird behavior, because they'd be in hot debate just before the bailiff called the trial to order, and then they do 5 minutes and then adjourn for a few minutes and then go on the side and more hot debate. And out in the hallway, there'd be some horse trading. This is not how trials are supposed to work. This is definitely not how trials are supposed to work in the kind of America I grew up believing in when I was 18. I'm going to try and get Harry on for a special session, a special broadcast on Tuesday night. Hopefully, I can get Rick and Kathy on at the same time so that we can talk about the details. I want to produce a pamphlet, a 6-page PDF for everyone to give out and pass out to their friends and neighbors that describes synthetically, without the current emotion that I'm pumping into it, in very black and white terms, what is actually what the trial is about, why Eugene U was arrested, who Lionel Nee is, what was LJ Connections, how it got started, how it got funded, how Adam Schiff is involved, or might be. We're not sure that. Why was Eugene U extradited from Lansing, Michigan to LA? Very like Joe Friday would say, just the facts. I want to produce this 6-page PDF because I think that learning about SCYTL, remember, SCYTL has on their website, SCYTL says we control 90% of the elections, or 80% of the elections around the world. I'm not making this up. Okay, here it is. SCYTL, their homepage, powering 90% of binding elections with innovative, secure, and transparent technology. This is the company to watch. For every time someone says the name Biden, they should say SCYTL 2 times. For every time someone that you know says the word Trump, they should say the word SCYTL 3 times. We have to get the American people talking about SCYTL. I want them talking about SCYTL for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner. SCYTL here, SCYTL there. Because this is fundamental. These quote-unquote elected officials can send our kids to war. In fact, they just sent 185,000 Marines into Eastern Europe. They can send many more kids into Eastern Europe or in other conflict zones because, well, you elected us, so just go back to sleep and let us do our job, like that one aide to an elected official said. They are prepared to do whatever they need to do to achieve victory. So you have to be prepared to do whatever it takes to achieve victory. What does victory mean? It means you get your act together in your county. You must know, okay, you say, well, John, I don't know anyone in California. I don't have any friends or family in California. Well, you know 100 or 200 people, and one of those 200 must have friends and family in Southern California. Get up a little earlier tomorrow morning. Get up a little earlier the next day. Find a way to create the time necessary to contact someone in Southern California and let him or her know about Eugene Yu's trial. In parallel, read all of Harry's articles about SCYTL, about Connect. If you have questions, send your questions to me at Research Roadshow, john@researchroadshow.com or research.roadshow.5@gmail.com. Send me your questions. I'll route them to Harry. If they're relatively easy, I can answer them myself. But please get involved. Get other people involved. Don't just hope that this situation resolves itself. This is going to take work. It's going to take sweat. It's going to take blood. It's going to take tears. That is what victory is about. That was what's about in a championship NFL game or NBA game. That's what it's going to take here. You've got to do the work. It takes heart. It takes heart. Okay, everybody, enough of my rambling. Please visit Harry and support Harry the Greek at newsothersmiss.com and brassballs.blog. Again, Tuesday night, we'll do another, hopefully we'll have Harry on live. And I'm going to let everyone call in on Tuesday night. Thanks again for watching. Have a good weekend, or what's left of it, and we'll see you on Tuesday.
everybody else.
Harry is not like everybody else.